host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking awesome. Man, I'd love it. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. It's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And if you want to help support my channel out, top link in the description box, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And also, Louise down, by all the way down at the bottom in the description box is another link. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,400 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group down here 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, we got some good news here. Some good news on going around. Of course, we got the old the benching of Daniel Jones, but let's start off with some chewy news here, shall we? Good old Eli, man, getting one step closer to the Hall of Fame. Now, of course, there's all it's I don't know. There's some absolute idiots out there who think he's not a Hall of Famer. So I mean, I've seen some articles out there. So I'm not even going to entertain them. I just read the first couple lines or whatever, and they don't think I don't even entertain it. If you're that stupid, I can't help you. But we got closer. The thing is pretty much is it's not, as far as I'm thinking, it's not if, it's when. Will he get in, right away? Because things are going to get a little complicated somewhere along the line, obviously, because you got, I'm sure if Ben Roethlisberger, if Eli don't get it for a couple of years, if he's going up against Ben Roethlisberger, I'm sure Ben will get the nod. If he's going up against Drew Brees, I'm sure Drew will get the nod. If we go in another few years and he's going up against Tom Brady, of course, Tom Brady's getting it, so it would behoove him if he could get in there soon, instead of having to wait a long period of time. But to me, he is. There's obviously there's a lot of things. I mean, some people say, you look at his win-loss record. Nothing special, right? But then again, I'm just going to throw one name out there. Instead of I could go back and I go look at all the names of all the guys in the Hall of Fame, right? And go and look at all the records and all this and all of that. Not doing that. Not happening, right? But a lot of people, one of the big things is he never got an all-pro nod. Made Pro Bowl, but no, not an all-pro. Meaning he was not in the upper echelon, in any one year. Well, a lot of it because he was going against with Brady. Brady would always be, So I one of the articles, I read a little snippet of it where there was no point in time where he was the best in the top 3, I think, in the NFL, I think, in any one particular year. Maybe. Okay. It's true. Right. I guess, maybe Joe Namath was, but I know the game was different back then and all, but I said, you look at Joe Namath. I think he threw 175 touchdown pass or somewhere around there. He threw 200. Well, let's see. Joe Namath. I know he threw like 50 more interceptions than touchdown passes. I know the game was different back then. Joe Namath. I mean, his win-loss record was he had a losing record. You know, there was probably a point in time where he was one of the better upper echelon quarterbacks in the game. Yes, he was. Let's see. So his overall record, quarterback record, he was, because he got injured a lot. He was 62 and 63. His overall record. Let's see. He threw, almost 50. He threw 173 touchdown passes. He threw 220 interceptions. Once again, the game was different. Yeah. So you can't compare Joe Namath to the guys today. You can't compare Benny Friedman, who was one of the first great quarterbacks of the NFL back in the 20s, to Joe Namath. I mean, you can't. There's certain criteria you can look at and all and everything. But the one thing is, I guess if you're talking about like with Joe Namath, he was obviously, for a few of the years there, he was an upper echelon, because then he just started getting injured. Once his knees started going, all of that, he could always, maybe wing it and all of that and everything. But, once we started getting to the 70s, was he one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league? Well, in 72 he was. I mean, but after that he started getting injured and he started kind of going downhill. So, but I mean, he had that one game. The one game. If Joe Namath doesn't go to the Super Bowl and win that playoff game, not playoff, or the playoff game, but the Super Bowl, does he make it in the Hall of Fame? I don't know. Don't know about that. Things that make you go, right? Now, I said, to be fair, I mean, there probably was not maybe a point in time where Eli was in the top 2 or 3 or something of all quarterbacks in the NFL at any particular time, and But one of the things is that I was like 2 things I hear a lot. I hear a lot. One, can you tell the history of the NFL without talking about Eli Manning? Don't think you can. I don't think you can. And another big thing I hear, and this something like this went against somebody like one of my childhood favorites, Jim Marshall. He was a defensive end for the Minnesota Vikings. He played, oh my God, if he had played 17 games like he did back, right? Because when he started in 1961, they were playing 14 games back then. So I mean, if he would have played probably over 300 games, like consecutive games in a row. He played, never missed a game. He had a lot of sacks, went to 4 Super Bowls. The biggest nod on him, let's pull him up here, Jim Marshall. I mean, number 70 for the Vikings. I mean, the dude was just unbelievable. The guy played 282 games in 200. I'm sorry. He played with Cleveland in 1960. They only played 12 games in 1960. But once he went to the Vikings from 61 to 79, he didn't miss a game. 61 to 79, 18 seasons. He didn't miss a game. Now, if he was playing 16 games a season, like all his whole career, he would have played in probably over 300 games. He played in 270 games with the Vikings. 19 years. 19 years with the Vikings. 19 years with the Vikings. Didn't miss a game at defensive end. And I said 19 years. Well, to be fair, the last 2 years he played 16 games, because 78, 79, they played 16 games. They changed from 77 to 78. They went up to 16 games. But from 61 to 77, right, there was 17 years where right nowadays we're playing 2 extra games. So if he played 2 extra games for an additional 17 years, that's 34 more games. He would have played in well over 300 games in a row at defensive end. I mean, yeah, probably. He never missed a game from 61 to 79 at defensive. We can't even get Kayvon Thibodeau to play a whole season. This guy's playing 19 straight seasons at defense. And yeah. Back in the day, it was a little rougher back then. They're not as lenient as they are nowadays. It was a little tougher back then. I mean, I get it. It's tough now. I get it. But, head hunting and guys cheap shotting and all that stuff and everything. It was a little different back then. But as I see sacks, he had 130 sacks in his career. 130 sacks. He played 20 seasons, played 282 games, 20 seasons. And I said the only reason why he didn't play over 300 games was because they only played 14 games. His first season in 1960, that was the last season he played 12 games. 1960, 1961, they went up to 14 games. But I said the only reason why he didn't play over 300 games was because they were only playing 12 or 14 games. But he played 282 games, had 130 career sacks, played 20 seasons in the NFL. And the biggest thing, knock on him that I hear a lot of times about Jim Marshall is, what did he do in the big games? What happened in the big games? And they're right. Against, pick any of the Super Bowls, right? Super Bowl 4 against the Chiefs, he was a non-factor. The Chiefs did a very good job at controlling a decent job, pretty good job of controlling the Vikings defensive line. Then against the that's my dog, my buddy Manny. He's sleeping. Sorry, buddy. He's sleeping down there. Then was Super Bowl 9, right, against the Steelers. I'm sorry, Super Bowl 8 against the Dolphins. He got manhandled. Super Bowl 9 against the Steelers. Franco Harris had over 130 yards, I think it was, rushing. I mean, he was like a non-factor. Then Super Bowl 11 when they played the Raiders. The Raiders, they lost 32-14. The Raiders had like tons of yards. They were just running up and down the field. I mean, it was a non-factor. That was the big knock on him. What happened in the big games, Jim Marshall? Right? They're right. They're right. He would get to the big games, and when he got maybe against the elite of the elite, it was a non-factor. It's understandable. But when we look at Eli Manning, right? What happened in the big games? I think we know the answer to that one. Not once. Well, yeah, he got lucky. Even a blind squirrel can find a nut every now and then, right? Some jackwagon will say something like that. No, but I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Moving my feet around. But he did it 2 times. And it was 2 times, obviously, in the Super Bowl. We'll go about the playoff runs, but 2 times in the Super Bowl. It's like Tom Coughlin's on the sideline. He's got the football. He's like, Eli, see the score? See how much time's left in the game here? There you go, kid. This drive here, if we don't score, we lose. No pressure, right? What did he do? 2 times, not once, 2 times. March them all the way down the field, right? For scores. Now, of course, the second one, 46, we just needed a field goal, and if Bradshaw didn't fall into the end zone, we probably would have kicked the game, hopefully. Would have kicked the game walking off field goal, But of course, we scored too early and let the Pats wind up throwing a Hail Mary in the end zone just to make things exciting, I guess. But, and we can't say so much about the Helmet Cats. That was more about David Tyree but he escaped and all that, and he slung it down the middle of the field, But what did he do? That pass, he threw the ball at Super Bowl 46 at the 5-yard line. Manningham was on the hash mark, And he threw. It wasn't like he was on the one hash mark and he threw it all the way across. No, he was, the one hash mark he was on. That was the side of the field that Manningham was on. But Manningham caught it at the 47. So from 45 to 47 is 42 yards. But he threw it on an angle, so he probably threw it closer to about 50 yards, right? He dropped it down, and I want to get nothing wrong here, so I watched the video just before I came on. Now, if he could have thrown it maybe another 6 inches or so, maybe another foot. I mean, because Manningham caught it was like this, right? He could have maybe another 6-8 inches farther, maybe. If he threw it too much, he was going to lead him out of bounds. And the ball landed like almost, it was coming down almost like right on the out of bounds marker. So Manningham had to catch it and keep his, because Manningham caught the ball over here and his feet were here, right? Because he had to keep his feet in bounds, right? He throws it like maybe another foot farther. It might be too far. If he throws it, I don't know, another foot or two out towards he might be pulling him out of bounds. If he throws it maybe 2 feet shorter, right? And I looked. I don't remember who the two players were. The cornerback actually, if you look at the video, the cornerback actually hits Manningham's shoulder before the ball hits Manningham's hand. So it was pass interference. He got there a little early, right? We didn't need to call. But so if the ball was like another maybe 2 foot shorter or whatever, if he's catching it like this or something like that, maybe the ball gets knocked away. He's catching it on this shoulder here. And just as he's pulling it in, the safety's coming over and hitting him on the shoulder over here. So if the ball is about maybe a foot or so over here, he's catching it here. As he's catching it, maybe bringing it in, the safety's hitting him over here. The ball might get jarred loose. So, I mean, the ball, there was not much margin for error because there's not one guy, but there was 2 guys all over. Now, there's been great passes in the Super Bowl, of course. The one I think about is in Super Bowl 42, 43. The one the Giants should have won was don't want to get it. No, after the 2008, don't want to get involved in that. Talk about anyway. Meanwhile, back at the ranch. But I mean, the one that was it just Santonio Holmes? I'm an idiot. I can't remember some of this stuff. Whoever he threw the ball, I mean, that pass was holy. That was a beaut. But it wasn't that. I mean, it was far. I couldn't do it. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't. The Eli kind of. I mean, Super Bowl 10. There was a couple catches that Lynn Swann made. One along the sideline, another one in the middle of the field. There's been a lot of great passes, but. You got that one along the sideline, in Super Bowl 46. You got to put that at the top of the top of the top. I mean, pressure moments. And then in Super Bowl 42, I don't know what the Patriots are smoking. I mean, Giants are over here. You got Plexico Burris, but some dude like, is anybody going to help cover over there? You got Plexico Burris? Yeah, you seriously sure about that? I mean, there was no doubt in my mind. He just like, boom, 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 boom. I mean, let him down the field, scored a touchdown. We talk about, the road warriors the Giants were on. I mean, winning game after game after game on the road, winning in Tampa Bay, winning in Dallas. Dallas was a better team than the Giants were that year, right? Then winning against the Packers in Lambeau Field. I mean, it was like 900 degrees below zero, but Eli Manning was throwing darts. I mean, Eli Manning looked better, more comfortable throwing football than Brett Favre did. Right? The road warriors were that year. And I said in 2011, he put the team on his back. We didn't have much of a running game that year. That was Eli. Of course, hey, man, we had Nix, we had Manningham, and we had Cruz. I mean, thank you, Jesus. I mean, thank you. I mean, holy cow. I mean, Manningham was the lesser of the 3, but I mean, what Cruz and Nix were, and went healthy. I mean, holy cow. Holy cow. But Eli put the team on his back. The championship game against the 49ers How many times did he get hit and knocked to the turf? I was talking about this in a video, I don't know, a couple videos ago, whatever it was. I mean, how many times he got knocked to the turf? A couple times he got hit to the. I think one time, I think his chin strap was up here or something like that. The helmet was up. He's like looking up. He's getting up. He's like, what's going on? You know what I mean? He got pummeled in that game. Kept coming back for more. Right? Then we went on the road with the Packers. I think we're 15-1. Right? Well, we destroyed them in that game. It wasn't even a joke. That absolute BS, roughing the passer, absolute BS, roughing the passer penalty the Giants had, which gave the Packers the first down and they scored a touchdown. It was absolute total trash call. But I mean, the Giants just dismantled the Packers once again in Lambeau Field. But then we go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's not to mention, right? The Patriots were pretty good in 2007. I think 18-0. Not bad. That's last time I checked. That's pretty good. Huh? Beat Tom Brady. They want to say maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. Of course, give some time. Patrick Mahomes might break those records, of course, but right. He beat him 2 times, not once. He got lucky. Why not? 2 times. 2 times. So, I mean, if you don't think he belongs in the Hall of Fame, if you're that stupid, I can't help you. I just can't help you. But there's, what we got here? Modern era player semifinalists. The following is the list of modern era players who have reached the semifinalist stage for the class of 2025. Let's see here. Modern era players making the cut to the semifinalists in their first year of eligibility. Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Earl Thomas, Adam Vinatieri, and Marshall Yanda. Each last played a professional football game in the 2019 season. So we got Hall of Fame class 2025 modern era player semifinalists. We got Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Anquan Bolden, Jarl Evans, Antonio Gates, James Harrison, Rodney Harrison, Torrey Holt, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Robert Mathis, Steve Smith Sr., Terrell Suggs, Fred Taylor, Earl Thomas, Adam Vinatieri, Heinz Ward, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne, Richmond Webb, Vince Wolfhook, Steve Wisniewski, Darren Woodson, and Marshall Yanda. So the one thing, the one real, as I went over that list right there, the one thing you'll notice is the Hall of Fame class 2025 modern era player semifinalists breakdown by positions. There's 2 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 5 offensive linemen, 4 defensive backs, 3 linebackers, and 3 defensive linemen, and the 1 place kicker, Adam Vinatieri. But you'll notice there's only 1 quarterback. That would be huge. That's 1 quarterback. It's not Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and Drew Brees. It's Eli Manning. So he's got a nice shot. He really does have a nice shot. So he moved 1 step forward. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's see. By the end of next month, the modern era player category will be cut down to 15 finalists. Reduction voting is still occurring in the seniors, coach, and contributor categories as well. There will be a group of 20 finalists over the 4 categories. While there's no set number of enshrinees, so it's not like the one nice thing is it's like, well, there's only 4 modern guys that can get in, and there's 2 old guys, whatever. We can only have 6 guys. No. There's no set number, so that's a plus. Let's see, there's no set number. The Hall of Fame bylaws stipulates 4 to 8 new members will be selected. So anywhere from 4 to 8. So he's got a good chance. He's got a very good chance. Now there's also, let's see what we got here. Justin Tuck has been a big advocate for Eli getting in. What Eli did, as long as he did in this city to win those Super Bowls in the fashion that he helped us win them, I don't understand why it's even a question. You go, brother. You go, Justin. My man. The freaking gladiator warrior that he is, Justin Tuck. My man. Pots and pans. Let's see. Senior selector Gary Myers. He is expected to lead the charge, but it will be a hard sell. The one thing is that what they're talking about here is Eli is an interesting case. He shows up to he shows up with 2 Super Bowl rings, right? 2 Super Bowl MVPs, but not one single All-Pro honor. Nada. But forget that he has the fewest honors of any candidate in this class. We expect discussion on his validity as a first ballot inductee to dominate meetings. Senior selector Gary Myers is expected to lead the charge, but it will be a hard sell. So if anybody, Gary Myers recently wrote a book about I think it was the 86 Giants. I didn't read it, but heard it was very good. And he's been he knew a lot of the players back then and everything. I think he was a writer for one of the newspapers. So he really, he knows, So let's let's hope that Gary does a good job at selling, because somewhere along the line Eli will get in. But this right now, and I don't know if there's somebody else in there next year or whatever, But who if he doesn't get in this year, is somebody else. I don't remember when Roethlisberger retired. It was 3 years ago or 5. I don't remember exactly. But this would be a perfect year for him to get in. He's the only quarterback, right? As I said to me, if you don't put him in as a first ballot, if he's got if he's got to wait 10 years, if he gets in, he gets in. To me, it's hard for me to say, is he a first ballot or not, right? But he made it this far. He's the only quarterback on the ballot, so this would be a perfect time for Eli Manning to get into the Hall of Fame.